Pregame.com.
Arizona and the Dallas Cowboys. It's the Dallas Cowboys traveling to Arizona on Sunday. I'm joined by Brian Leonard. I'm Marco D'Angelo. This is your pick, Brian. Who do you like and why?
I'll take the underdog. I'll take Arizona here. I think Dallas is a little bit overrated. They're coming off an incredibly easy schedule. They played Miami, Washington, Buffalo, Seattle, Philadelphia, and St. Louis. They covered only 2 of those 6 games. Last 2 games, a 3-point overtime win and a 1-point win last week. Take a look at the Dallas schedule coming up after this game. They've got division rival the New York Jets on deck, Sunday Night Football, followed by Saturday Night Football against Tampa Bay, and then Saturday Night Football against division rival Philadelphia. Dallas has never been good in the role of a road favorite, 2-9-1 against the spread in that role. In fact, they've lost to Arizona the last 2 times they played them in straight-up fashion. Arizona's staying under the radar right now. They've won 3 of their last 4 games. Kevin Cobb's supposed to be back this week. That'll help the offense. Defensively, they're only allowing 18.3 points per game the last 4 games, and they played within 4 points of the number in all but 3 games this year. So this is a team in Arizona. They're not pretty. They're not pretty at all. The defense is getting better. I think the offense will be better now with Cobb back in there. And they've been very competitive in these games. We remember when they went to Baltimore after Baltimore, I believe that's a week after Baltimore lost to Jacksonville on Monday Night Football. And they led that game. I mean,
24-3.
Yeah, and Dallas isn't a team you want to trust laying points. The way you make money on Dallas is taking points with Dallas, and you go against them when they're laying points.
Well, I can't say that I disagree with you, but I'm just going to play devil's advocate here and point out some things on the other side. One of the things going for the Cowboys in this game is that they did play on Thanksgiving Day. So they've got 3 extra days to prepare. The other thing that I'm going to mention, and it's kind of, you've heard me talk about the injured player theory a lot, and you're familiar with it, where you take a team the first game of an injury because the rest of the team, plays at a higher level, and if they do get the money that first week, then they're a play against the next week because everybody lets down. Well, I take that a step further, and whenever the star comes back, now I'm playing it in reverse. I'm going against that team when the star comes back the first week because psychologically, all those guys that would be playing at a higher level because the guy was gone now can maybe relax a little bit because he's coming back. So with Cobb coming back, to me, I actually view that as a negative because, one, we always talk about value. I mean, we're always, just like our wives go shopping, we talk about finding value in these lines. And to me, the reason there's value in going with an injured team is because Vegas overreacts knowing that the public is going to bet against the injured team. Well, when the player's coming back, the public's going to have that overreaction the other direction too. They're going to give them more credit for that star player coming back. And I think it's a double negative. You're either laying more or not getting as many points as you should be with the star coming back. And let's face it, he's coming back. He's coming back from an injury, so he's not going to be at 100% sharpness when he comes back. So I generally don't like to take a team with the player coming back. Now, with that said, the Dallas Cowboys, do I trust them as a road favorite? In this spot, they should have lost on Thanksgiving Day. Mm-hmm. Miami did everything but win the scoreboard. They beat them in every other category. Should have won the game. They got lucky. Sometimes when teams win, what I call win ugly, that kind of sparks a team to maybe move on and get a streak going because maybe they got one they shouldn't have gotten. The Washington game, it was a 3-point game. They went to overtime. They let Washington back in that game. They led that whole game against Washington. I think there was less than 20 seconds left when Washington actually tied it up to send it into overtime. I can't get a handle on the Cowboys right now, and I'm on the fence with this one. Like I said, I can't disagree with you, but I just wanted to point out, when you handicap, you still got to look at both sides and see the pros and the cons. And sometimes you might not have enough to put you on a side, but you might have enough to keep you off a side. And as we all know, a no play sometimes is better, is better than obviously a loser, but, because you're not, if you take yourself off a loser, you're not losing the juice with it on top.
We kind of touched on this in the last video, bet percentages. And this is another game where a ton of people are on Dallas, yet the line's not going in that direction. Some money came in on Arizona when it was said that Cobb was going to play.
Right.
But to be honest with you, I'm not so sure how big of a drop. What kind of a differential do you make from Skelton to Cobb?
I make it a point only on experience. Cobb really had, to me, if you ask me to grade, was he a success or a failure this year for them going out and getting him? I can't rule it a success. He's underachieved, whether it be, again, we talked about, at the beginning of the year how the lockout was going to affect so many teams. The teams that it was going to affect the most was teams that had a hardcore change of their nucleus. Right. And there's no bigger nucleus than your quarterback. So when you got a guy comes in that's got to learn a system from scratch in 1 month, you're going to be playing catch up all year. And I think you really can't deem this a success or failure, I think, until year 2, when he has a full camp, has, the off-season mini camps and stuff. I mean, remember, if it was a normal season, he would have had the playbook in his hand last spring and, would have been coming around and, learning the offense. And they have the optional workouts, and practices. So he didn't get any of that this year. And then to get injured just compounds things. But I can't disagree with you on the Arizona play. Another scheduling thing that factors into Arizona, as competitive as they've been playing, they've played a murderous schedule situation because they've just completed 3 in a row on the road and 4 of their last 5 on the road. That takes its toll on a good team. And we both agree Arizona's not a good team. They're an average team at best. And for them to overachieve the point spread the way they have in such a negative scheduling spot, that you got to give them credit for that.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I play them. You could take a team who's won 3 out of 4 games and 3 of those are on the road. That's pretty impressive, and the next 3 games are at home. So now we can see how, hopefully Cobb is healthy, and we can see how this turns out. I wasn't a big fan of the Cobb signing. How many Philadelphia quarterbacks have left Philadelphia and had success? Probably 0. So it's a situation here. It's more of a play against Dallas, but as long as I can catch that hook on 4.5, I think it's still a good value.
I can't argue with it. I don't have an opinion on it, but Brian does. His play is the Arizona Cardinals taking the points on Sunday. And Brian, what do you got going this week you want to tell the listeners about?
Yeah, Friday, the MAC championship game. I've got my play up on that. 9-1 this season.
You've been
in MAC
fantastic.
football. 15-2 weekday games. Mm-hmm. I've got to play. We're taping this on Thursday. By the time we get up, this game will be off. But Sunday, I've got a nice game of the month play, or Saturday, a game of the month play in college football. Finalizing my NFL card right now, and pretty excited about it.
Okay, well, that sounds good. There you have it. We're going to be back with one more video. I've got my NFL best bet of the week. We're going to try to keep that run going. We lost last week, but 8-3 the last 11. So look for my best bet video. It's going to be on the New York Jets at the Washington Redskins. Back with that next.